Well, first of all, everybody here should be able to write this story. I shouldn't even have to give it. If Coach Bryant was up here 40 years ago, he would be saying the same thing. Pleased with this year's recruiting class, filled a lot of needs, got a lot of character quality guys in this class. So did anybody need me to say that, or could you have just wrote that on your own? Doesn't every coach say that after recruiting? Just like you never have a bad spring practice. You ever hear any coach say you had a bad spring ball? So, but you know, there's a lot that goes into, you know, a recruiting class. I think there's a lot of people here at the university who do a fantastic job of helping us recruit. You know, first of all, our assistant coaches do an unbelievable job. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of travel, a lot of missed family time, and certainly did an outstanding job this year. The people in the university community here, from Dr. Witt, President Witt, you know, right on down through the university community, our deans, the administrative staff in our office here who set up the weekends, do a great job in terms of academics. John Deaver and his staff and academic support. We could just go on and on and on of how many people contribute to the success of having a good recruiting class. Our players, you know, do a good job of hosting and engaging with the players when they come here, making them feel part of, you know, our team, our family here. So there's a lot of people responsible, you know, for all this. Our fans, you know, who do a fantastic job, I think, of creating a lot of positive energy and attitude relative to their passion in terms of why players would want to come and play here because of the atmosphere and environment that they create, in terms of our games as well as the support throughout the state on the street and their positive attitude about the kind of program that we have here. You know, I think all those things contribute to the success here at the University of Alabama. So the challenge for us as coaches is to help these players mature and develop, you know, into all that they can be. And I think that, you know, I've commented on this before, you know, just because you pick the best puppy dog with the biggest feet, that doesn't mean he's going to grow up to be the best hunting dog. And, you know, a lot of these young players are very good. They're very talented. They've had great success as high school players, but they're going to make a tremendous amount of improvement, almost probably as much from the time they were freshmen in high school to their senior high school. They're going to do the same thing in college. And I think the challenge for us is to help these players develop so that they can have success, not only on the field, but in the classroom, and to continue to develop, you know, personally, academically, and athletically. And we want to be able to shape these guys into people who can be more successful in life because they were involved in the program, and they have a tremendous amount of success here, personally, academically, and athletically. So that's really the challenge, I think, for us as coaches. And for these players to have the right attitude about what it takes for them to be successful as players, to be a complete player, to do the things they need to do at their position, to be a complete player will obviously enhance how rapidly they do improve and develop into very good college football players.
Coach, I have a two-part question. First, was anything unique about this? You have players from California, Ohio, North Carolina. Was anything unique about this recruiting year in terms of where you went to look for players?
Well, we look all over for players, and we try to get the best possible players on our board. I think recruiting to a large degree is a little bit of a numbers game. We have an evaluation system. The more players that we can get on our board that pass our evaluation system, that meet the criteria for what we want for a position and have the athletic ability to meet those criteria, the size and speed to meet the criteria, as well as the character and attitude and intelligence that we're looking for, you know, in our players here. The more guys we get on the board, if we're going to bat .333, 1 for 3 in baseball. So if we have 90 guys on the board, we'll be able to get 30 good players. If we have 10 good players on the board, we'll only be able to get 3. So that's kind of our approach. So, You know, sometimes we have a lot of really good players in our state. Sometimes there's a lot of really good players in a 5-hour radius, so we'll obviously have less players from further away that we'll have to be looking at in recruiting. But, you know, recruiting is so global now and, you know, I think we have a very recognizable program. So for us not to take advantage of guys that are, you know, out of our 5-hour radius that are interested in Alabama would not be in our best interest. And I think that we got some very good players this year from far away.
And the second part, this class is smaller than some of the previous classes you've signed since you've been here, but you also had a small senior class and 3 guys turning pro. But could you explain again for us how those numbers will work out?
Well, you know, I think that there's been quite a bit written about over-signing, so to speak. But, you know, we have never gotten rid of a player because of his physical ability. And any player that has left this program prematurely has created his own exit route. You know, he's created his own conditions for leaving, if that makes any sense. Whether they're academic in terms of not doing what he needs to do academically, whether there's some violation of team rule and policy, whatever it is, some of these things we're not allowed to comment on. But, you know, we have so many seniors. We have some guys going out for the draft. Nobody really knows for sure how many guys we had on scholarship last year, but we didn't have 85. I can tell you that. We have some people who could not finish the season who will probably not be able to continue to play. That can be replaced. And we have several players who can graduate and may not come back for their 5th year who have been redshirted. So when you add all these things up, plus we have guys that may not qualify. And there may be a guy that may not appear on this release that was committed to us that may already be in junior college someplace. So there's all kinds of ways but to criticize based on numbers when you don't have all the facts and you don't have all the internal information, I think is a little premature and unfair. And then for people to go on and use that against you in recruiting is even more unfair. But this is the number of players that we could take, and we could add 1 or so to that if the opportunity presents itself in the future. And we do have some guys that may gray shirt. And let me address that too, because I think there's a lot of criticism in gray shirting that is unfair. First of all, we have never ever gray shirted a guy here who, when he decided to come here, didn't know the circumstances that we were going to take him to the University of Alabama, that he was going to be a gray shirt whenever he committed. And the reason is sometimes academic, the reason is sometimes physical development and maturity, but those are the reasons. But never have we not a player known sometimes if they're hurt and physically can't perform. So there's reasons for it. But they're always done up front. We've never, ever not done it up front. So the player comes here with the idea that I'm going to start school in January. Now, I do not think that that's a bad thing, because if we weren't able to do that, those players would not have the opportunity to come here. They would not have the opportunity to come here. So we're actually creating an opportunity for a guy to be able to come here, not taking one away. And that's where I think there's some disconnect out there in understanding of what gray shirting really is all about.